Welcome, everyone. My name is Nicole Ricci. I'm on the board of New York Small Pharma. On behalf of New York Small Pharma, I would like to welcome all of you who've logged on this evening to join us, as well as welcome our distinguished guest panelists who we are so honored to host to cover this important topic. As many of you may be aware, earlier today, the Senate announced sponsorship of a bill to decriminalize cannabis at the federal level. The bill is called the Cannabis Administration and Opportunity Act. It's sponsored by our very own Chuck Schumer, Senator Chuck Schumer of New York, our good neighbor, Senator Cory Booker, and Senator Ron Wyden of Oregon. It's really important to note that the first line of this bill states the war on drugs has been a war on people, particularly people of color. It is so important, so paramount that the government at its highest levels have recognized this. And the bill itself aims to end decades of harm inflicted on communities of color by removing cannabis from the federal list of controlled substances and empowering states to implement their own cannabis laws. We hear a lot about the acronym BIPOC, Black, Indigenous, People of Color, and the impacts of prohibition to those communities. Tonight, we focus on the I, the Indigenous community, a community that we believe has so much, we at New York Small Pharma believe has so much to offer, so much to teach on cultivation, medicinal, and spiritual aspect of the marijuana plant. And it's also a community that gets most often the least coverage. So there's been so many online and in-person events and discussions and forums and investor dinners, all focusing on the money of cannabis, how to get into the business, how do I get a license, how are they gonna allocate the pie, how do I get a slice of pie, how do I make money? So much of it that we here at New York Small Pharma felt it was really important to spend time talking about the culture of cannabis. Not the importance of using and consuming and making money, but the importance of building a relationship with these plants, who love the sunshine, who love to be outdoors. And so whether you grow a plant in your apartment window or your outdoor garden or on your farm, you know that these plants communicate with us and they want to have good vibes from us and they want to form a relationship with us. So tonight, that's what we're gonna focus on, what it means to cultivate plant medicine and what are the ancestral ways, long before prohibition, long before labeling it as a drug, and long before the modern concept of money and industry became involved. So tonight we're going to share some important information with you, but what we really want to do is start a dialogue with you. So please submit your questions in the question and answer section of your Zoom window, and I will be asking them to our panelists. We do have a replacement in our program this evening. Travis Andrews will be replacing Shanae Bullock, who could not make this evening's event. So I'm going to start a little bit about telling you about New York Small Pharma. Then I'm going to introduce each of our panelists who will come on and speak for about 10 minutes or less. And then we will have all the panelists join at one time, and that's when we're going to take your questions. So please feel free to submit your questions. We really look forward to answering them. So New York Small Pharma is a nonprofit organization. We've been operating in the cannabis space in New York for 7 years, but we legally incorporated as a nonprofit under 2 years ago. Our mission is to foster a socially just, environmentally regenerative, and economically inclusive cannabis community. Our vision is a world where cannabis is consciously grown, our vision is where consciously grown, community-based cannabis heals the earth, uplifts our communities, and ushers in a new economic model of fairness and inclusivity for all agriculture and our culture at large. We are so young that we've existed entirely on volunteer help. Everyone who works for or at New York Small Pharma does so by the graces of their volunteer work, and we've been supported by individual donations. We're so small, we have not yet been able to be competitive for a grant or received our first sponsor donation, although we hope to change that this year. So we're very humbled and grateful to all of those of you out there who do contribute to us, especially our monthly donors. You make it possible for us to do the work that we do. We're one of the few organizations that focus on the environment and cannabis in New York. And your donations are what allows us to bring these programmatic events to you, like free webinars. So thank you to all those who do donate, and those of you that can donate and so feel called to donate. We will have donation buttons up in the chat, feel free to donate to us or to any of our panelists that are speaking tonight. All of these panelists operate on donations and working programs for the community. And we'll also be posting other links, links to their Instagram posts, links to their websites, as well as links to resources that we feel are important and go along with this topic.